Alex Pereira defeats Khalil Roundtree by a fourth round TKO. What an amazing fight this was, guys. I mean, I my expectations were very low for this fight. I mean, I complain about this fight even happening. I think most MMA fans can agree that Khalil Roundtree just objectively did not deserve this title shot. And if you look at his resume, I mean, he was coming off a win over Anthony Smith. Before that, a split decision against Justin Jacoby, a knockout win over Chris Dawkins, who basically everyone knocks out Chris Dawkins, so it's not really saying much. But this fight was booked, and even though I complain about this fight, I'm always going to tune in and watch the main event because it's Alex Pereira. You know, he's one of the most exciting fighters in the UFC. You always get a banger, you always get a knockout, and man, did this fight delivered. And the reason why this fight delivered, honestly, is all credit to Khalil Roundtree. So I'm really happy that I was proven wrong. I mean, I did say in my prediction video that, even though I want Alex Pereira to win and to keep winning, there was a small part of me that did want Khalil Roundtree to have success in this fight, just for us to really get a fight, to really see Alex Pereira go through some adversity in the light heavyweight division. And we saw that in this fight. We got everything we wanted in this fight. It was an amazing fight. Honestly, one of the best fights of the year. I was incredibly satisfied. What a fight, man. Khalil Roundtree came to this fight to win the fight. He did not come into this fight scared. He did not come into this fight just for a paycheck. Khalil Roundtree came into this fight with the pure intention of winning this fight. And on the feed, man, I was impressed, especially in those early rounds. He looked very fast. You could tell that Alex Pereira was having a little bit of trouble with the timing. Khalil Roundtree's left hand, he was fighting from southpaw. I was pretty surprised that Khalil Roundtree wasn't really throwing any body kicks, wasn't really throwing any low kicks. And maybe that just had to do with the fact that Alex Pereira does a very good job of checking low kicks even from southpaw fighters. But Khalil Roundtree was having success with his hands early on, and before I mean, just the first couple seconds of the fight, Alex Pereira, just kind of went out very aggressive against Khalil Roundtree, and I was like, man, that's very uncharacteristic of Alex Pereira. Like, I feel like maybe Alex Pereira thought this was gonna be a very easy fight, that he was just gonna run through Khalil Roundtree. He's like, man, I'm just gonna try to get a knockout in like the first 10 seconds, because I was like, man, why are you being so aggressive? Calm down, Alex, because when we've seen that when Alex Pereira gets a little bit overzealous, that is when his opponents can have success, especially someone like Israel Adesanya, who's very fast, and Khalil Roundtree is just as fast as Israel Adesanya. Maybe doesn't have the best counters, or the reach of someone like Israel Adesanya, but he's just as fast. And we even saw that in this fight. I believe it was the second round where Alex Pereira, threw a head kick. Khalil Roundtree was able to like kind of duck under it, and then he landed like this quick, I believe it was like a left hand or a right hand, if I'm not mistaken, on Alex Pereira. Like, it was a quick shot that really stunned Alex Pereira and dropped him for a little bit. So Khalil Roundtree did an amazing job in this fight, but I think Pereira's experience, his durability, his IQ just really, showed in this fight. The fact that, he was losing those first two rounds. I mean, it was still very competitive. It's not like Alex Pereira was getting dominated or anything like that, but you could tell that Khalil Roundtree was landing the more significant shots on the feet, and Alex Pereira was still trying to get his timing. He was still trying to find his range, and he was able to find his range in the third round, started landing those low kicks that really started to affect Khalil Roundtree's movement. Khalil started to slow down. He was, overthrowing, like overextending on shots, not really being able to get the distance on Alex Pereira, and Khalil Roundtree was starting to miss a lot. Alex Pereira was able to get the timing, and Alex Pereira really started to hurt him, and then was able to finish him in the fourth round, where he had Khalil Roundtree really hurt, man. Khalil Roundtree was bleeding. He was basically done. I mean, the fight could have been really stopped like 10 seconds before. I'm glad that it wasn't stopped like earlier, because we saw Alex Pereira unleash some nasty shots on Khalil Roundtree. And Khalil Roundtree, man, I mean, he's incredibly durable. The guy fought with a lot of heart, and Alex Pereira just showed that he's on a different level. And like I said, I'm very happy that we saw some adversity, that we saw him go through some adversity, that we saw him, not just knock out the guy in the first round. As cool as that would have been, as cool as that would have been as well, to see Alex Pereira actually kind of struggle in those early rounds, was pretty satisfying, and for him to come back from that and still win the fight the way he did, just incredible, man. Alex Pereira is truly the real deal, and I just hope that the UFC really appreciates this guy while he's still here, man. I mean, Alex Pereira is 37 years old. We're probably gonna have him for another couple years, but the fights, his activity is just something to praise, man. I really do feel that Alex Pereira needs to get all the love, all the credit, and I feel like MMA fans really do love him, but really do appreciate his fights, his fighting style. I mean, he's one of the best strikers in the UFC right now. And Khalil Roundtree, like I said, he didn't just show up for a paycheck. He came to fight, and props should also be given to Khalil Roundtree. I hope he gets a big fight next, maybe against Jamal Hill, John Blachowicz, Yuri Prohaska. I mean, this guy is truly the real deal, and it's kind of funny that Khalil Roundtree, the guy that arguably did not deserve this title shot, did better than Yuri Prohaska, did better than Jamal Hill. Maybe not better than John Blachowicz, but that was a very funky fight because it was Alex Pereira's first fight at 205. He kind of looked kind of fat in that in that Jan fight. He looked kind of chubby to me, so I don't think that was like the best version of Alex Pereira. But man, Khalil Roundtree looked like a real menace on the feet, and I mean he stuck to his work. He did not shoot any takedowns. We're still yet to see people try to shoot takedowns on Alex Pereira. I mean Yuri Prohaska tried in his last fight and was unsuccessful. So the longer it takes for somebody to really expose Alex Pereira on the ground, Alex Pereira is gonna keep getting better and improving with his takedown defense. So just an incredible fight, guys. I was very, very impressed. I mean, at the end of the day, I guess hindsight 2020. I'm glad this fight happened. Should have that happened? Absolutely not. I mean, I still wish we would have gotten Magomed Ankalaev, but Khalil Roundtree came to fight, man. It wasn't just another Yuri Prohaska rematch where, respect, all respect to Yuri, but I don't think Yuri's elite level, and he has a lot of deficiencies with his defense to really beat someone like Alex Pereira. And Khalil Roundtree, for the most part, was doing a good job early on of shelling up, covering distance, being very fast with his movements, really closing the distance on Alex Pereira, and not really letting Alex Pereira throw those like investment shots or really land those investment shots. So, I mean, just props to Khalil Roundtree, man. What an incredible fight. I mean, for Alex Pereira, I think there's a lot of talks of him potentially moving up to heavyweight. I don't think it's a good idea just yet. I think Alex Pereira should stay at 205. I mean, there's also talks of him moving down to 185, but right now 185 is incredibly stacked. I mean, we got Sean Strickland versus Dricus Du Plessis probably happening next, and then we got Hamza Chimaev versus Robert Whitaker, is probably the number one contender fight, and then we also got guys like Nasruddin Imavov who are kind of in the title picture as well. So right now, 185 is incredibly stacked. So I don't feel like it's like the right time for Alex Pereira to move down to 185 because I think it would really hold up the division. I think right now 185 is kind of in a good place right now. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of contenders. There's a lot of guys coming up the rankings. I mean, the winner of Hamza Chimaev versus Robert Whitaker has earned a title shot in my opinion, and we know Sean Strickland's next, and then Nasruddin Imavov has arguably done enough to at least fight for a number one contender fight. So there's a lot going on at 185. So I don't know how I feel about Alex Pereira moving down. Now, maybe he can fight the winner of Alexander Rakic versus Magomed Ankalaev. I think that's the fight that should probably happen next. Um, that could happen early on next year. I think Alex Pereira probably needs a break, man. He's been very active this year. He's already had 3 fights. So I would like to see Alex Pereira take a little bit of a break, maybe come back in March or April against the winner of Alexander Rakic versus Magomed Ankalaev. And for Khalil Roundtree, maybe a fight against Jamal Hill, maybe a fight against Yuri Prohaska. I think those would be amazing fights, and I think he proved himself in this fight. Now, guys, for the co-main event, we had Raquel Pennington versus Juliana Pena, and I picked Raquel Pennington to win by a decision. I almost had it, man. It was a split decision, and a lot of people are mad. A lot of people believe that Raquel Pennington won this fight, and I I don't think Raquel won this fight. I actually think Juliana Pena won the first, the second, and the third round. The first round was very competitive, but I did give it to Juliana Pena. Now, I was kind of surprised by how many people gave the first round to Raquel Pennington, so maybe I missed something, but I mean, I watched the whole round, and I thought Juliana Pena won the first round. It was a very close round. She won the second round, she won the third round. Fourth round, Raquel Pennington dropped her, clearly won the fourth round, and then I thought Raquel Pennington won the fifth round. So I had it 3-2 Juliana Pena. It was still a very close fight, so I'm not like mad about the decision. Like I understand if they would have given the fight to Raquel Pennington, but on my scorecards, I had Juliana Pena winning 1, 2, and 3. It was a good fight, man. I mean, it was kind of what I expected. expected a bit of a scrap. I think Juliana Pena fights with a lot of heart, which makes it, very entertaining. Is she the most technical? No. Is Raquel Pennington the most skilled? No. I mean, she's kind of good everywhere, and it's kind of what I expected. Honestly, I enjoyed the fight. It wasn't like a snooze fest of a fight. It wasn't Valentina Shevchenko versus Alexa Grasso. Like, both these girls came to fight. Juliana Pena is very awkward on the feet. She kind of reminds me of like a Dricus Duplessis on the feet. Maybe not in terms of effectiveness, but just awkwardness. And Raquel Pennington, she has superior boxing, but she still struggles on the ground. Like, Juliana Pena had the most success when she took Raquel Pennington to the ground, and I was just kind of surprised that she wasn't really able to do that in the later rounds. But maybe that just had to do with the fact that they were fighting at elevation, and she was starting to get tired. But honestly, I thought it was a good performance by both of them. I enjoyed this fight. I mean, Pena's just as good as I thought she was. Raquel Pennington is just as good as I thought she was already. So it wasn't anything surprising. I thought it was going to be a close fight. I honestly thought Raquel was going to beat her. I thought Juliana Pena was going to look a lot worse than she did in her last fight, but she looked about the same. And like I said, the fight could have gone either way. Personally, I just had Juliana Pena winning the fight. Now, moving on to the next fight, we had Jose Aldo versus Mario Batista. Now, this, I did not agree with the scorecards. Mario Batista did absolutely nothing in the third round. Now, I understand the argument could be made, well, Jose Aldo didn't do much either, right? He was getting controlled up against the fence, but I felt like that's where the ref needed to do a better job of stepping in and separating them early on. Like, I felt like he kind of let too much time pass by for him to separate them, and I mean, Jose Aldo looked good. I mean, Mario Batista did very good in that first round. He was very fast on the feet. He was very elusive. I was kind of surprised with the fact that Jose Aldo wasn't really throwing any low kicks. He was just basically boxing with Mario Batista. And I felt like he was struggling early on. Like, you could tell, I was like, man, Jose Aldo's looking kind of old right now. And Mario Batista looks very explosive, looks very elusive, looks very fast with his hands. And then in the second round, you could tell Jose Aldo just started to take over and landed like a jab like in the first 10 seconds that really affected Mario Batista and started bleeding out of his left eye, and it was insane, man. It was a good fight, but man, like that third round was such a snoozy. I wish Jose Aldo would have won. Like, I understand why they gave it to Mario Batista in a sense, because like Jose Aldo also didn't land that much in the third round, so it's like, who are they gonna give the third round to if nothing really happened, but one guy's getting controlled up against the fence? You know what I'm saying? So I understand. I'm bummed out. It is what it is. Now, moving on to the next fight, we have Roman Dolidze versus Kevin Holland. I didn't really watch this fight. I'm gonna be straight up. I was washing clothes, look at my TV, and I just see that Kevin Holland's on the ground. I'm like, what the fuck happened? Apparently, he broke his ribs. He had an injured ribs. Fight was basically over. I don't know what really happened in that fight. Roman Dolidze keeps getting flukes. Um, the only thing I heard was that Roman Dolidze after the fight said that, he was at the top of the division. I'm just like, what the fuck are you saying, bro? It wasn't even a year ago where you got fraud checked by Nasruddin Imavov. So Roman Dolidze, I mean, he's coming off wins over Anthony Smith and Kevin Holland. Bro, you're not in the title picture. You're not at the top of the division. So Roman Dolidze probably needs like another unranked fight, in my opinion, at middleweight to really start to move up the rankings, because beating Kevin Holland because of injured ribs or whatever ended up happening in the fight, even if he was winning the first round, is, I mean, come on, guys, like, stupid. And then his win over Anthony Smith, which was on 2 weeks' notice. I mean, it was 2 weeks' notice for him, but it's an Anthony Smith that is way past his prime, and like, it, I mean, Khalil Roundtree beat Anthony Smith and got a title shot and did pretty well in the title fight. So maybe there's onto something. Maybe Anthony Smith is like the real true test if you're ready for a championship bout. But it is what it is, I guess. Kayla Harrison defeats Kellen Vieira. She did face a little bit of adversity in the striking, landed a good, Kellen Vieira landed like a good elbow up against I think it was up against the fence, I believe. But Kayla Harrison just did not have a lot of success with some of the takedowns, especially later on in the fight. She was trying to get a lot of trips. She was relying a lot on her judo, but she wasn't really shooting for single legs or double legs, and I felt like maybe that was a bit of a mistake. But still, I mean, a pretty good performance by Kayla Harrison. Kellen Vieira, she is a tough cookie, as they like to say. And Kayla Harrison probably needs to fight for the title next. She probably needs to fight Juliana Pena. And, Juliana Pena, hopefully she stays active and doesn't wait for another 2 years to fight Kayla Harrison, but that's definitely the fight to make, guys. So anyway, those are my thoughts on the card. I enjoyed this card a lot. I want to know what you guys think. Let me know down in the comments below what you thought of UFC 307. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.